Good evening, everyone. My name is Luis Escudero. My friends know me as Tequila Bay, and welcome back to another episode of Tequila Talks. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Tequila Siete Leguas. Siete Leguas is given NOM 1120 by the Consejo Regulador Tequila, which is the identification number for its distillery. It was founded by Don Ignacio González Vargas in 1952, and El Centenario Distillery was born. Tequila Siete Leguas is named after Francisco Pancho Villa's horse, El Siete Leguas. The folklore mentions how El Siete Leguas would travel 7 leagues in one day during the Revolutionary War. This endurance ensured the general victory. El Centenario Distillery is situated in Atotonilco El Alto, in the highlands of Jalisco. Atotonilco is home to renowned tequilas like Don Julio, as well as Tequila Patron. Lucrecia de Anda Hernandez and her brother Juan Fernando González de Anda took over the distillery and built La Vencedora Distillery to help them expand Siete Leguas production capacity. Siete Leguas also helped launch the beginning phases of what is now known as Tequila Patron. In efforts to increase tequila exportation for Siete Leguas, Francisco Alcaraz, a distilling consultant for them, teamed up with Martin Crowley and John Paul de Joria of Patron to export more tequila under Casa Siete Leguas. Patron's success led Francisco to desire even further expansion of Siete Leguas, but was turned down by Lucrecia because of the core of Siete Leguas is tradition and craft. Their small batch approach is what has made them so successful. At the core of Siete Leguas is artisanal and ancestral homage. They make their tequilas almost identically as they were produced hundreds of years ago. El Centenario Distillery is the only distillery that boasts a mule-driven Tohono wheel. At El Centenario, the tequila production pays close attention to every time-honored execution. La Vencedora, on the other hand, has introduced slightly more modern techniques to help with increasing demand. Tequila Siete Leguas is a perfect blend derived from both distilleries. Okay, so let's dive a little bit deeper and actually talk about how Tequila Siete Leguas makes their tequila. First, we're going to begin with the harvesting and the hima. Siete Leguas uses 7-year matured blue Weber agaves that have reached peak maturity and sugar content. The jimadores perfectly shave the agaves to expose the piña, but also leave some of the green fibrous part of the plant to induce the flavors and characteristics that make their tequila so unique. Next, the hydrolysis or cooking of the agave. Siete Leguas uses brick ovens to slowly cook their agaves. This technique ensures the perfect breakdown of the sugars and the agave piñas. The piñas are split in half to provide a more even cooking method. Next, the milling. Tequila Siete Leguas uses 2 types of milling techniques. First, the more time-honored method of the Tohono mill, and also a more industrial method of mechanical roller mill. Now, the Tohono mill is only used at their El Centenario Distillery, while the more modern technique of mechanical roller mill is used at La Vencedora. And like we mentioned earlier, Tequila Siete Leguas is the only distillery that still uses mules or donkeys to haul the Tohono wheel around that crushes the cooked agave fibers. Next, let's talk about the fermentation. This process is carried out in open-air wooden tanks without added yeast. Both cooked and raw agave fibers are added to the mosto to provide the unique flavor components that Siete Leguas boasts. Distillation, twice distilled. This process is carried out in small copper stills. And finally, aging. Siete Leguas Blanco, which we have here in front of us, is unaged. The reposado rests in used bourbon American oak barrels for 8 months. The añejo rests in the same bourbon barrels for 24 months. The d'antaño, which is the portfolio's extrañejo tequila, rests for 5 years in the exact same bourbon American oak barrels. And the single barrel rests for 8 to 12 years. This is their vintage tequila. I only have access to the Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo variations within this portfolio. As soon as they are available in my state and that I can buy them, I'm definitely gonna get my hands on the D'Antaño and the single barrel. And I'm excited to be able to see what Siete Leguas has produced with these vintage tequilas. Alrighty guys, well, to conclude the evening, I wanna round out our conversation, and Tequila Siete Leguas has become one of my favorite tequilas. For me, it's one of the truest expressions of agave, and they pay such close attention to the time-honored executions like the Tohono, like the slow roasting cooking methods that bring out the best expressions of the agave plant. In front of me, I have their portfolio. We'll discuss a little bit about that. We touched base on how they have a Tequila Blanco, an 8-month Reposado, a 24-month Tequila Añejo, and unfortunately, I have yet to have access to the 5-year de Antaño and the single barrel tequila, which is aged anywhere between 8 to 12 years. Tequila Siete Leguas execution, their craftsmanship, and again, their time-honored methods is what sets them apart. So tonight, let's go ahead and try our Blanco expression. For purist drinkers, we always set the standard and set the bar with the Blanco. One thing that I've noticed about Tequila Siete Leguas is that their Reposado and Añejo expressions aren't so darkly colored like a lot of products that are out on the market. This is because Tequila Siete Leguas is additive free, so they don't need to add colors, they don't need to add abocantes to make this tequila experience excellent. So let's go ahead and pour out some of the Tequila Blanco, Siete Leguas Blanco. Nice generous pour. You know I like to drink tequila in moderation, but tequila is always good. I'll never turn it down. So just to analyze the body, it has a nice crystal clear color, really well-defined legs. And right off the rip, the aromas, again, Tequila Siete Leguas takes pride in the expression of agave, the way that they ferment their tequila with the added agave fibers, both cooked and raw, the way that they harvest and the way that they shave the agave piñas also induce such an agave forward presence. So the aromas have hints of citrus, really strong presence of agave, both cooked and raw, and a little bit of like a fresh, like eucalyptus. The nose is excellent. A little bit peppery. Let's go ahead and dive in and get a nice taste. Incredibly smooth. Again, at the core of Siete Leguas is this agave forward presence, the cooked agave notes, the raw agave, a little bit peppery, and then again, those little flashes of citrus come through to deliver an extremely smooth expression of agave. Siete Leguas is an exceptional tequila. I highly recommend. Now, I've tried the Reposado, I've tried the Añejo, and again, they focus around that agave expression. So they're not gonna be overly powered by the oaking or the vanillas. And since they are additive free, these abocantes and these vanillas that are so strong and other tequilas are slightly and organically noticed in the Reposado and the Tequila Añejo. Salud. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I definitely recommend you trying Tequila Siete Leguas. It has become one of my favorite tequilas. Our next episode will dive into Tequila Patron. Now, Siete Leguas was the distillery that helped Patron get off of the ground. And Tequila Patron produces a product that is as exceptional as Tequila Siete Leguas, but has mastered the ability to market and produce tequila at an even larger scale. Unlike Tequila Siete Leguas, which focuses on small batch distilling, Tequila Patron has produced a process that emulates Siete Leguas, but at a much larger scale. So please give my video a like, subscribe to my channel, add a comment if you wish. If you have any questions, let me know. And thanks again for watching. Salud, amigos.